Hey guys, Kinkaiju here, and today we're going to be doing another tier list video similar to the one I did about the Mattel concepts a few months ago. This is going to be similar to that. However, instead of Mattel concept designs, this is going to more be about the beasts of the Mesozoic Ceratopsians. There's a lot of them to cover, so I'm going to get right into the tier list, starting off with C tier. Now some of you guys might be like, why is he going right into C tier? What about F, E, and D tier? And this is because I do not think that there is a single bad figure in this line. I think to an extent they are all good. With that being said, C tier only includes two figures, the Torosaurus and the juvenile Centrosaurus / Monoclonius. Starting off with the Torosaurus, I actually think that this figure is good. Like I said, I do not think that there is a single bad figure in this line. However, this is definitely, in my opinion, the weakest color scheme out of any of the ones that they've made. They just do not look realistic to me whatsoever. They are way too bright and way too flashy, especially for a real life animal. I also really don't like the blue that they used. I would have preferred a darker blue. That would have fit a lot better in my opinion. The lighter blue does not really look that good on the Torosaurus model to me. Then with the Monoclonius / juvenile Centrosaurus, I don't really think either color scheme works, especially for the models. Now while I do like the Dino Riders callback with the Monoclonius paint scheme, I personally did not grow up with that line, so it doesn't really hold a ton of nostalgic value to me, and I know a ton of people think differently than that who did grow up with it, but me personally, I did not, so that's kind of why I don't like it too much. As for the juvenile Centrosaurus, it kind of has the exact opposite problem as the Torosaurus, to where I think the colors are a bit too bland. I don't really have much else to say about the Torosaurus or juvenile Centrosaurs, so I will now move on to B tier. With B tier, we have quite a lot more than the last tier. I'll quickly blow through them. Chasmosaurus, Ioneosaurus, Psittacosaurus, Regaliceratops, Medusaceratops, and Protoceratops. We'll start off with the two easiest ones to go over, which is the Protoceratops and the Psittacosaurus, and obviously their problem is that they are not in scale with the rest of the Ceratopsians. Thankfully though, Beasts of the Mesozoic is making 1/18th scale versions of both the Protoceratops and the Psittacosaurus, so that is why they are in B tier. Then we have the Chasmosaurus, which is almost in A tier. However, there is one thing holding it back in B tier, which are the legs. In almost every single review I have seen of the Chasmosaurus, its legs are always white with a little bit of dry brushed green, and it doesn't really look that good. However, besides that one little flaw, I actually really do like the figure, and I do plan to pick it up pretty soon. Then with the Regaliceratops, Medusaceratops, and Ioneosaurus, they don't really have anything inherently wrong with them, just I do not think they're really A tier material. They're good, they don't really have a ton of problems, but I just do not like them as much as some of the other figures. That is B tier done. Now we go to kind of an odd tier, which is B.5. B.5 only includes one dinosaur, that being the Spiclipius. I hope I pronounced that right. Similar to the Medusaceratops, Ioneosaurus, and Regaliceratops, I don't really think anything is particularly bad about the figure, but I do not think it's as good as some of the dinosaurs in A tier. With that being said, the reason it is not in B tier is because of the fact that this is a very, very obscure species that I didn't even know about, and I'm very, very glad that Beast of the Mesozoic is doing it. I can say with confidence that I know most of the species that Beast of the Mesozoic is doing, except a few, this being one of them. Don't worry, you'll see the other ones later. And I think out of the ones that he's doing that I didn't know about, this is definitely the weakest, but that is not to say it's a bad figure by any means. Now we will move on to A tier, which is by far the biggest tier out of them all. With A tier, we have the bulk of most of the dinosaurs, including creatures like Avaceratops, Diabloceratops, Sinoceratops, and Styracosaurus. I won't say all of their names, I'll just show images of them, but to start off, we'll go over the ones that I think are really, really good, but they're not S tier good. Again, I don't think any of these figures are bad by any means, just there are some that I like more than others, and in A tier, figures like the Centrosaurus, Nasutoceratops, Diabloceratops, and Cosmoceratops, and a few others fall into this category. You might have noticed that the adult Triceratops is also on this tier. I just don't like it as much as the sub-adult. I think the colors are duller And also for that $130 price tag, I don't think it's worth it. With A tier done and done, let us move to the final S tier. As you can see, S tier isn't really that big, with figures like Albertoceratops, Pentaceratops, and of course the subadult Triceratops. First, I'll go on to my 3 favorite figures in the entire line, which are the Albertoceratops, Xenoceratops, and finally the Utah Ceratops, which is my ultimate favorite. There's a few reasons I like this figure as much as I do. For one thing, the color inspiration is one of my favorite lizards, the Gila monster, and as well as that, I did not know Utah Ceratops was even a dinosaur, so I'm glad that this is a really obscure species. Same thing goes for the Xenoceratops and Albertoceratops. I think their colors are absolutely amazing. As well as that, I did not know that they were even species, so I'm very, very glad that they're not only doing obscure species with these, but also giving them incredible colors. As for the other 3 figures, the Pentaceratops, Pachyrhinosaurus, and subadult Trike, I don't exactly have a special attachment to them, but I do think they look the best out of any other figures in the line, but that does not mean that they're my favorite. Although I do think that these are the best paint jobs and best detailed figures, that does not necessarily mean that I like them the most. I think that the other paint jobs are more appealing to me, but these ones are definitely the best applied. So yeah, guys, that is the Beast of the Mesozoic Ceratopsian tier list. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I don't really have anything else to go over, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.